I always knew I was different. It wasn't like I woke up one day and suddenly realized I was gay. It was more like pieces of a puzzle slowly coming together, bit by bit, until the picture became clear. By the time I hit high school, there was no denying it anymore. I was gay, and I was okay with that. But figuring it out was the easy part. The hard part was telling my parents. They've always been supportive, you know? The kind of parents who come to every school play, who cheer the loudest at soccer games, who tell you every day that they love you. But this felt different. This was big, and the thought of disappointing them, or worse, losing their love, scared the hell out of me. So, I kept it to myself, hoping that maybe the right moment would come, and it wouldn't be as terrifying as it seemed. Instead, I found myself stuck in this endless loop of overthinking. I'd imagine all the ways the conversation could go wrong, and trust me, there were a lot of them. I rehearsed speeches in my head, played out different scenarios, but every time I tried to work up the courage to actually say the words, my throat would close up, and I'd lose my nerve. One Saturday afternoon, I was sitting in the living room, pretending to watch TV while my parents cooked dinner in the kitchen. The smell of my mom's spaghetti sauce filled the air. She makes the best spaghetti, by the way, and I could hear them chatting and laughing as they worked together. It was such a normal, comforting scene, and for some reason, that made the fear bubble up inside me even more. I couldn't keep it to myself forever, and I didn't want to. But the idea of changing this peaceful, happy dynamic was overwhelming. "Ethan, honey, can you come help set the table?" my mom called out, snapping me out of my thoughts. "Sure, Mom," I replied, trying to sound normal as I got up from the couch. I walked into the kitchen, where Dad was stirring the sauce, and Mom was slicing bread. They both smiled at me, and I felt this pang of guilt for not telling them sooner. They deserved to know the real me, not just the version I showed them. As I started setting the table, my heart began to race. Maybe this could be the moment. We were all together. It was a calm, ordinary evening. Maybe this was as good a time as any. "Hey, Mom? Dad?" I began, my voice shaking slightly as I put down the last plate and turned to face them. My hands were trembling, but I forced myself to stand there and say the words I'd been holding in for so long. My mom looked up from the bread, her expression immediately concerned. "What is it, sweetheart? You look nervous." Dad stopped stirring and turned to face me too, his brow furrowing with worry. "Is everything okay, Ethan?" I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. This was it. I just had to say it. "There's something I need to tell you," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. My heart was pounding so hard I thought they might hear it, but I knew I had to push through the fear. I'm gay. For a moment, it felt like time had stopped. Mom blinked, processing what I just said, while Dad's frown deepened, but not in the way I'd feared. "You're gay?" Mom repeated softly, her voice gentle. I nodded, my eyes fixed on the floor. "Yeah, I've known for a while, but I didn't know how to tell you." There was this beat of silence, and in that moment, I thought my heart might actually break. But then Mom crossed the room and pulled me into a tight hug, holding me so close I could feel her heartbeat against my chest. "Oh, Ethan," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for telling us." Dad walked over, placing a hand on my shoulder. "We love you, son." Nothing could change that. The relief that washed over me was so powerful, I almost cried. I wrapped my arms around Mom, feeling the warmth and comfort of her embrace, and when I pulled back, Dad pulled me into a bear hug that was just as strong and reassuring. "You're still our Ethan," Dad said, his voice steady and full of love. "That's all that matters." Mom nodded, wiping away a tear. We're so proud of you. For being brave enough to tell us, and for being true to yourself." I smiled, feeling the weight of the secret I'd been carrying for so long finally lifting off my shoulders. I was so scared, I admitted, my voice trembling. "I didn't want you to think I was different." "You're not different," Mom said firmly, cupping my face in her hands. "You're just you. And we love you exactly as you are." That warmth spread through me again, a deep sense of belonging and acceptance that I hadn't been sure I would find. My fears had been unfounded, and standing there with my parents, I realized their love had always been unconditional. "Thank you," I whispered, my voice choked with emotion. "I love you both so much."